In this video, we will look at a very useful function called substitute. This function, as the name suggests, allows you to replace parts of text with something else. We will first look at all the possibilities with this function, and then we will look at a small application. In the cell A4, we have sample text written. Now let's look at the most simple use of the substitute function. As we write the substitute formula, it shows us that it needs 4 parameters. The first one is text, which means the cell where we will make some substitution. In our case, it is A4. Then the next parameter is old text, that is the text we want to replace. As an example, let's replace the letter M. So I will write M in double quotes. The third parameter is new text, which means replace the old text with this new text. Let's write N here in double quotes. We will look at the optional parameter shortly, but for now, I'll just close the bracket. And as you can see, the letter M has been replaced with letter N. The new word does not make any sense, but we will not worry about it. So as you can see, it is a fairly simple function to use. In the first example, we replaced one character with another one. However, the function also works on replacing more than one character. And it is not necessary that the new text has to be of the same length as the old text. Let's try another example. Substitute A4. Let's replace the character MPLE with NE. Our new text is sane text. MPLE is 4 characters, whereas NE is only 2, and yet it works. Now the next thing which is important for us to know is that this function is case sensitive. I will now replace the uppercase T with uppercase N. So substitute A4. Old text is T in uppercase and the new text is N in uppercase. The end result is sample next. If you notice, the last character, which is also a T, stays as it is because it is a lowercase t. If you want the function to replace lowercase and uppercase characters, you can use the lower or upper function to enable that. Now let's look at one more example. I will replace the letter E with letter O. So substitute A4. Old text is E and the new text is O. We get the strange word where all the occurrences of E have been replaced with O. Now let's assume we only wanted to replace the second occurrence of E with O. Then we could have used the last parameter. Let's make a small change to the formula. For the last parameter, instance number, I will write 2. This means that the substitution should be done only for the second occurrence. Now if you see, the E in the word sample stays as it is. This is the first occurrence of the letter E, therefore it is not impacted. However, the second occurrence, which happens in the word text, does get replaced with an O. Now that we've seen the fundamentals, let's look at a quick application of this function. We have a set of applications for which temporary files are created. The applications go through 3 stages. Application received, under review, and ready for dispatch. Every time there is a status change, the status date also changes. Once the application is processed and is ready for dispatch, then a tracking ID is created. The first part of the tracking ID is the same as temp file name. However, the letters DDMM are replaced with the date and month on which the file reached that status. The 3 files which have the status as ready for dispatch, the column D shows the tracking ID for them. We need to write a formula to create these tracking IDs. Let's clear the contents of column D and write this formula together. The first thing that we need to do is check the status using an if statement. So if B2 or the status equals ready for dispatch, since this is a text, we will write it in double quotes. If that's the case, then substitute DDMM with the actual date. Text is the temporary file name, therefore we will select A2. Old text is the text DDMM. For new text, we will use a function called text. Value is C2. The date of the status. Format text is the format in which we want to display the date. So we will write DDMM in double quotes. Close the bracket for text and substitute functions. We come back to the if statement. For value if false, which means if the status is not yet ready for dispatch, we will do nothing. So I will just write a pair of double quotes. Close the bracket for the if statement. And you get the tracking ID as the status for this file is ready for dispatch. Copy the formula and you can see that we now have a tracking ID wherever the status has reached ready for dispatch. So this is how the substitute formula works. Please try it out, and if you have questions, then leave them in the comments and I will answer them. If you like the content, then please support us by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. I will see you soon in another video. Bye for now.